Welcome to Vintage Burn. I'm Kev.
Marco.
And in this segment, we're getting into our metal talk. So I'm going to give it over to Marco and let him kick this bitch off.
Yeah, man. The first thing I want to talk about is a couple days ago, it was a big, big day for metal. I did nothing but listen to metal that whole day. It was the 50th birthday of heavy metal. And what kickstarted that was Black Sabbath's self-titled record, which came out February, what was it, 13th? Was that the date?
Yep.
1970.
Yeah.
And, man, it was awesome, man. I started out with Black Sabbath, and it got into a mix, and then I started into the Priest. Even some Dawkins came on. It was actually pretty good. It was at, I forget the song now.
Probably Dream Warriors.
No, it's the chain one. Breaking the Chain.
Breaking the Train.
But yeah, man, big ups to that, man. It's awesome because I've been like a lifelong heavy metal fan, and to see that it's gone 50 years. It's 10 years older than me, by the way. Makes me feel kind of old, actually.
Hey, but you know what? Thanks to you, it was funny. I was watching, there were a couple other YouTube channels and stuff. They were talking about, you know, the beginning of heavy metal, and is Black Sabbath, they are the creators of heavy metal, and it goes back and forth between Sabbath and Priest. Surprisingly, a lot of bands out there still think Priest actually were the first to technically be considered heavy metal. But Sir Lord Baltimore came up as technically one of the... They were identified in a newspaper as the first heavy band. And that album came out... Was it like 1970, 69 or 70?
I think it was 70.
But
I think. I could be
wrong.
wrong.
You're the one who showed me Sir Lord Baltimore. If you guys don't know that band, fucking check them out. Cool looking artwork. Was it two records?
2 albums, yeah.
But
the first one is magnificent, though.
It's a beast.
They're unfortunately a band that was only around, I think, like 5 years or something.
Yeah, they
didn't have a long lifespan, but yeah, they were definitely influential. A lot of people say Montrose too. Band Montrose, I've heard that. I've heard Blue Cheer. Yeah. There's a lot of bands that I've heard, like
Sabbath. Let's face it,
I think it's widely considered. Yeah,
lyrically, guitar tone, and I'm sure Henry Rollins would support it. Like basically. Black Sabbath, Tony Iommi wrote every fucking metal riff that everyone copied since then. Pretty much, doesn't matter what it is. So, I agree. I mean, regardless, I got sucked into the fucking advertising. I bought the 50-year anniversary Black Sabbath pint glass. It's the album cover painted in black all the way around.
Oh, that's cool.
It's pretty sick.
For just the first album?
It's just the first album. It's the 50th anniversary, so it was on the Black Sabbath website. It was $48. It better be fucking sweet.
I hope it is.
It's hand numbered on the bottom.
Yeah, it's a pint glass, goddammit.
$48.
But it's the 50th anniversary.
Like one of 250,000.
No, I don't know. I don't even know. I don't even know what the limit on it is. But I bought that, and it's cool because again, like you fill it up with a juicy IPA, and it's just a black. You're
gonna use it?
Fuck yeah, of course. I'm gonna drink out of that thing every time we podcast.
Which variant is it? That's a big thing now. Variants.
Yeah, it's gonna be like drinking out of the Holy Grail. And then I bought a shirt. It was a cool shirt. It's got it says Black Sabbath with a lightning bolt hitting it, and it's the old school logo. And then on the back, it's the lyrics to Black Sabbath, the song, in a cross on your whole back. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot about it, and it's a big deal.
It's exciting. 50 fucking years.
50 years, man. And so many good fucking albums, in that meantime. It's just fucking crazy, man. Like, to think it's been around 50 fucking years. It's awesome.
Yeah. And they started off here, and they went this way. I know a lot of, like, doom, the slower
People
bands.
can't see or hear your hands.
Doug is measuring his penis. They can't tell.
God damn it. We need a YouTube channel.
It was here, and it went this way.
We got one.
The things I would say would make so much more sense if you could see me. I'm very...
the dog keeps farting.
Popeye. Oh, man, that's brutal.
Anyway, so...
Corrupt us, and he's like, here's to metal.
There's so many doom bands, like, if you listen to, like, Sleep, Candlemass, a lot of them are just, I don't say recycled, Black Sabbath riffs, but very heavily inspired.
Hey, look, man.
Yeah. I think like almost every metal riff is inspired by Black Sabbath. I mean, you go Symptom of the Universe.
Dude, Children of the Grave.
Like proto thrash.
The chug, right?
And that's what I was getting at. Even though a lot of
speed that up, it's a thrash song.
They kind of went straight up, but then it's
dude, that's it. That's every thrash song.
Then it kind of like spread out. Now 50 years later, we have a million subgenres and. It's kind of an awesome thing.
Yeah, and it all stemmed from them, man. And that's why big ups to Black Sabbath for writing that first album. And another note, man, very excited to hear that Dave Mustaine beat his throat cancer.
Yes.
And they announced a tour.
Yeah.
And in spite of this, I mean, they're touring right now with Five Finger Death Blow Punch or whatever. They suck. But
Five Finger Beat Wife.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Jesus.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
Is that what he does?
Yeah,
I don't know much about
it's
him.
actually funny because the singer had a domestic against his wife at one point, and then the drummer quit, and the drummer's now a cop. And I'm like, man, it'd be ironic if he's got to pick up his singer at some point for domestic.
Jesus.
Yeah, and the guitar player used to play like with Hannah Montana.
Yeah. Yeah,
Montana.
yeah. He wanted to be in the band after they got famous. He was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, dude, call me when you guys have a guitar opening."
He was in what that
The original
Hired Gun. You saw
Yeah.
that, right? The
Oh, yeah,
Hired Gun
yeah,
documentary,
yeah.
which is pretty cool.
It's funny because he's a blowhard. Jason Hook. He's a fucking.
Yeah, he'll do
blowhard.
whatever it takes. Look at his spiked hair, man.
Yeah, but it was funny because the first guitar player was from Wasp. Like he was playing in Wasp for a while, and then he was just like, "Yeah, I'm not into this," and he's getting royalties from that first record because that's the record that like blew them up. So
He was
left.
he wasn't just a hired gun for Wasp. He was actually in Wasp.
The original guitar player of Five Finger
The guy in Wasp.
was from Wasp. He came over from. He's not the original Wasp guitar player. That dude's a fucking mess. Chris Holmes. Yeah, I think it's Chris Holmes.
Yeah, isn't that the dude that's in
Dude,
that documentary there?
Yeah,
the
dude, he's
Decline
a
in Western
fucking
Civilization?
mess, dude.
And he's the one drinking in the pool.
in
like,
the
chugging
pool,
the,
can't even think straight.
yeah,
Dude, can't even think straight.
That's
Like
him,
subtitles. He's so hammered.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Just
he
chugging
was,
vodka.
Talk about how depressed he is.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why I was curious because I thought.
But
that
no,
was the case.
this dude was in Wasp later on, and then left to start this new venture. Did the first record, and that's why the first record has awesome like '80s sounding like metal riffs and shit. And then he left after, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm done." And then Jason Hook was like, "Oh man, I want to jump on this train because it's left the station." So anyway, they suck. But
So anyway,
But we're not
Megadeth.
talking about for 15 minutes. But they suck.
So Megadeth, which is me and Kevin's favorite band.
we
by
just
the way.
lost 5 subscribers.
Yeah.
Like,
So I need to ask you guys a serious Megadeth Dave Mustaine question.
Sure.
How do we feel about the beard?
I'm okay with it.
he
Beards
looks
are cool.
distinguished.
I like it.
Yeah.
I think he's needed to do this for years. When he was young and he had those like the heroin cheeks and the hair, he was a good looking guy. But then he got older. He quit
looks
the
like
drugs.
a prune. He did not age well.
He did not age well.
Well, he also beat the shit out of himself too.
But the beard hides it all and makes him look badass.
I like it. Okay, I'm glad you guys.
I'm
are on
cool
the
with it.
same
Yeah,
page.
I'm cool with it.
I
And
think-
yeah, they're going out on the road with Lamb of God and
Lamb of
And
God,
In Flames, which is interesting because Chris
Trivium,
Broderick's
In
going to be on that
Flames.
tour with them.
Oh,
You know, he booted Chris Broderick a few years back, so it's funny. You know, obviously they still have a good personal relationship.
Whoa!
Yeah, Chris Broderick's in Flames.
He is?
Yeah, he's been in Flames for like a year or so. Yeah.
He is?
Yeah.
maybe that's why they're starting to play older stuff again.
Yeah, I think so. That could be the reason. Because Flames is
Why?
playing older stuff. Just money, man. Money.
Paycheck.
I would say money. Paycheck, yeah. I mean, they do pretty well.
I'm actually
They
kind of
just
excited.
hired a new dude, so that dude didn't work out. And then
I'm not
Broderick
sure. I'm
was-
not sure how it went, but I know Broderick's in them now.
And I know Broderick was supposed to play. He had his other band with Glenn Drover. I don't know if I forget.
Act of Defiance.
Yeah, what happened?
Act of Defiance, yeah.
Yeah, what
They're not
happened?
doing shit. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, I think they just weren't doing well. I mean, I think they're still like a
My
band.
opinion of Broderick is he's just a hired gun, but he's not good at writing his own material. We know that.
I mean, once your Ferris Bueller royalties wear off, you need to find a paycheck.
Ferris
Same guy,
Bueller.
right? Broderick, Matthew Broderick. That's what we're talking about.
And speaking of doing well and 50 years, there's a lot of shit going on about Ozzy. Ozzy just recently put out a statement saying that he's going to beat his Parkinson's and he'll be back out. He said he hasn't died yet from anything. He goes, "You'll know I'm dead when I'm fucking dead."
He pulled an Alex Trebek. is what
Yeah,
you're saying?
yeah. People are all like, "Oh, so don't believe anything out there."
He's on his deathbed and we're going to lose
No,
Ozzy. But I guess he was diagnosed with Parkinson's like
Years ago.
03.
Yeah.
and
No, I
it's-
mean, you could tell.
Glenn tipped
Yeah, I
him
mean-
from fucking Judas Priest, and I still saw him play 3 songs. He's not doing great, but he still came out and played 3 tracks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think we've come a long way in like just like who's the big one that has Parkinson's?
Michael J. Fox, yeah.
You know, and I know what they knew 10, 15 years ago, what they know now.
Yeah.
You know, now it's a little more manageable, a little more treatable.
Yeah, so, I mean, Ozzy will be back. I just feel like if you have a chance to go out and see Ozzy, he may not be what he was at one point.
He's pretty good
But
last
honestly, go fucking see Ozzy, because we don't... Here's the problem, right? People forget nothing lasts forever. We're not immortal.
Even cold.
All of the great bands that are still remaining, they're getting old and they're dying off. Fucking get out and see them while you can. Do it because you will regret it. You will regret it. I regret not going to see Typo Negative. We lost Peter Steele. I got fucked in that. I still think about that I could have gone a million times, and I was like, oh, I'll go later. I'll go later.
For me, it's Death. I wish I got to see Death.
Well, they played in Peabody.
Yeah.
They played in Saugus. Which is right, 10 minutes from my house.
And you missed it.
And I didn't go. And it was in 98, so I was
Because you were like, I'll go see them.
next time.
Fuck.
Fuck.
Yeah.
And I bet Seth Dunrover was
Because I remember
there
there was a store, actually, a record shop called Rocket Records. And I remember going in there, actually, to buy a Warzone record, a hardcore band, and which I'll bring up again in a little bit. But, and I saw the ticket. They had, like, tickets they sold there. Like Strawberries used to. Which is a local record store, too. They used to sell tickets. But they had tickets to a place called, I forget what it was called, but it had, like, a Russian name. And it was, like, a venue that lasted maybe 3 months, and they had Death tickets there. And it was on the, like, symbolic era, pretty much. It was coming off. It was, like, 97, 98. And, man, and I fucking was like, oh, I don't know if I can go, want to go, or whatever. I don't even know what I was thinking. I should have just fucking bought tickets and went. And I missed that whole fucking
Doug
show.
invited me to I don't know how many shows where I was like, no, I'm not going to do it this time. And you have regret. So that was, if you can, just do yourself a favor. If you can afford to go, because that's the other thing. Shows are not cheap, but just go. There's some of your favorite bands going. Mm-hmm. I don't care what the excuse is. It's a Monday, a Tuesday. Fucking go see them, because guess what? We're human. You don't know when the next time that band that you want to see is going to be gone.
Yeah.
or when you're going to be gone
And
yourself.
when you're going to be gone, yeah.
Take advantage of it if you can. Get it.
Orgasm's my other one.
Ooh,
Yeah. You guys went.
Thank
I wish
Christ
I
Kevin
went.
made it there.
Yeah.
what a fucking show, man!
I know.
Why play around?
I don't know why they don't. Bob Mayo's always posting like, "Oh, remember the show in 1988? Remember the show?" Like, dude, just reform.
Like just one show again.
Yeah, dude.
It's been what, 10 years since that Wargasm.
Everybody needs
10
to
or 11.
listen to Why Play Around. Just that record.
Yeah,
though.
that's a great.
Everything
record.
else can be disregarded.
Yeah, but they're local boys from Stoughton, Massachusetts. But them and Malaya Rage are the bigger two we had in the 80s.
Yeah,
They weren't huge. I mean,
Kill to Survive.
yeah. We didn't have many here, and that's
Right.
a great. Even if that was
Our boy
West Coast
Yarna from Godsmack on drums.
That's true.
Yeah, that was like later
Rage
Malaya
kid.
Rage. Yeah,
Oh,
that
was
was.
it?
Yeah, he was only in the band for a couple of years, right before Godsmack. Yeah.
Oh, really?
They were good. Like I think he was on Mastermind. There was one album that he was on that I actually really liked.
It was yeah.
But yeah. So there's
Bates Motel.
So how was you guys went on the 70K cruise?
70,000 tens of.
Yeah, 70,000
What
tons
were
of
your
metal.
highlights? What were the highlights for you guys? Like, if you could sum it up instead of talking about it for like 2 hours. What?
No, I mean I don't even remember it, man. This was a month ago now. Honestly, my highlights like band wise are probably. Let me see if I can even think of this now, man. Like Campfire.
Violence,
Yeah,
definitely.
Violence is up there.
They're one of those bands that we never thought we would see. Violence killed it. I know Possessed.
They were great, yeah.
They killed it both sets, and they're one of those bands that now they're starting to play a lot. But back in the day, last time we saw them was on Barge to Hell.
2012.
Yeah.
Which is another cruise, by the way.
Another cruise, yep.
Yeah.
And they're one of those ones, and now they're doing like a little mini tour and stuff with Pestilence. But they're the one of those bands you would never really see. I don't know why. Why now?
Yeah,
Maybe.
my other highlight was that strawberry frozen drink mixed with the pina colada. That was another highlight to that thing. That dude put so much booze in it. Tip him a couple bucks and they hook you up.
Yeah.
Man, that was good. But no, man, the highlight too was seeing my friend Mary. I haven't seen her in a long time, and countless other friends, because I've gone. This is like my 6th time going. So, man, it was just fun to be back. It was a 3-year absence for me, and Doug, it was almost like 5 for you, right?
5, yeah.
5, yeah.
2015 was my last.
Yeah. So I mean, just being back on that boat was fantastic. It's something that I want Kevin to do, but I don't know if he'll ever be able to.
No, honestly, I think if depending on where I'm at next year, I would like to do 70K next year.
Hey, maybe we can actually start hitting them.
Dude,
we can start hitting them up for press passes.
If I would have known, I would have gone with you guys. You guys already had a plan. I just didn't think about it.
Mm-hmm.
I would have fucking gone. I'm like, I was telling Lauren the whole time, I'm like, I regret not doing it. I wanted to go.
Mm-hmm.
I was jealous the whole time. I'm like, oh, look, they're having fun, and I'm not. So, is it every January?
January, February. It was February the last few years. It was January the first few years.
Right.
So, I mean, it's in the first 2 months.
Good birthday to myself. And
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, man, it was awesome. I mean, I really, honestly, like, it was a month ago, so I kind of forget half of it now.
Like Marco was saying, after a while, the bands are great. There's a lot of great shows. There's a lot going on all the time. But once you go and you meet up with your friends. You look forward more to the meetings. That I haven't seen you in years. A lot of people. There's people that come from all around the world as well as all around the country that you don't get to see every day. There's people on the East Coast you might like. Hey, we'll see you in New York for a show, but there's people that come from. I know there's a huge. Marco knows a lot of the Denver crew. There's like the Cali crew. There's people come from all over.
Yeah, man, and foreign. I mean, like people come from Australia. There's a lot of Australians I know as well. And, like that's a good thing. Like. About this cruise too. I've made so many friends. Like I last time I went to Europe, I went for a month, and I must have met up with about 5 cruisers in their respected cities. I remember this guy Mike from Vienna, Austria. He found out we were coming to Vienna. We put it out on Facebook. Cool. He's like, "Oh, I'll show you guys around." And he took us to these local spots. We ate fucking local schnitzel.
See, that shit.
And had local beers.
Awesome.
We weren't doing the touristy stuff.
Cool,
even though I had to see stuff because I'm a World War II enthusiast. I had to see like where.
I thought you were going to say veteran. I was like,
no.
Wow, all right.
No, I would say enthusiast, but like where Hitler made a speech, like
that's
to see that building.
Cool.
And it's funny because he didn't even mention it. I'm like, dude, that's where Hitler made a speech because I've seen it like so many fucking documentaries. I'm like, wow, we're like right here.
That's cool, yeah.
And it was
history,
cool to see
man.
stuff like that. Like the same trip, I actually ended up going to Auschwitz, which was also crazy. But,
yeah, sure.
But in general, man, it's cool. The cruise has opened me up to so much, and like even around the country, like I have places to stay in Denver, Florida. New York, Maine, Canada, you know what I mean? It's just awesome. Finland. I can go to Finland and stay in like 12 different places. It's phenomenal, like the connections you make. And I think that's the main reason I like going on the cruise, for me.
Yeah.
The
bands are great. There's a lot of good shows. They do bring in some bands that don't normally play the States.
Which is nice, yeah.
So
Like Campfire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the last time we saw them was on Barge to Hell as well, the other cruise. They don't normally play.
No.
They draw them in.
They've done a few tours in the U.S., but it's very few and far between.
Yeah. I mean, then you got like Whiplash. Then you get your staples, the ones you don't know when's going to be the last
How's
show.
the food at Nico McBrain's barbecue joint?
It's not bad. It's not bad. I mean, it's not like the top-notch...
Is it really just for the nostalgia of you're in Nico McBrain's
barbecue
joint? And there's all sorts of like Iron
memorabilia.
Maiden shit.
Oh, yeah. In general, that's I think what makes it really fun.
And you can get all their beer too.
And so a lot of times Nico's there. Unfortunately, the few times I've been there, he hasn't been there.
What about the sake beer? How was that?
It was good. It was good. I mean, I didn't think it was like the greatest thing on the planet, but it was fine. I mean, it was better than most cheap beer or whatever,
It's more like for the novelty of it all, know.
It's all
like, of course, I can't say shit about the food because I get the veggie burger, but it's always very good.
No, the food is good. Don't get me wrong. It's
no
not
Uncle
bad.
Pate's.
But like I've had better barbecue, I've had much better barbecue. I lived in Georgia,
so it's
and
just,
traveled through the
It's never
going to
not do good because it's Iron Maiden's name stamped on it.
No, but the food is good.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it's bad, but it's not like top notch. It's good though. It's better than barbecue you'll find up here.
All right, Nico, when you retire, work on that shit. All right, we want top notch barbecue.
The funny thing is when you're leaving and you look around, like these aren't metalheads. Those aren't metalheads. They're just fat and they like barbecue.
They're just fat and they like barbecue. Yeah,
so it's not like it's just like a metalhead metropolis. Like there's the locals like it, so it must have some
appeal. Definitely has some appeal.
Yeah.
And it's called Rock and Roll Ribs, and it's in Coral Springs, Florida. If you guys ever want to visit Nico McBrain from Iron Maiden's rib joint.
There are some pictures on the Insta and Facebook page of some of the Maiden stuff we took while we were there.
So what else? You wanted to get into some best albums of the decades?
Yeah, in a minute. I just want to actually do this now because
Marco Downer.
Yeah, Downer part. This month or this last month and a half has been a real rough month in the music industry, as metal rock industry
metal, for sure.
For deaths, man, and it's insane how many people have passed. And how do you say his name? You can
R.I.P. Dude, for drummers in general, it's fucked up, Neil Peart of Rush. I think everybody knows that. That was just, that blew up, and he was a very private guy. I listen to Eddie Trunk. Eddie Trunk's always talking about how he was one of the only people to actually interview him and this, that, and the other thing. But yeah, it's always been Peart, so don't fuck it up. It's not Pert, it's Peart. And the dude's dead, so respect him, honor him. But you know what? Speaking of metal and the transition to metal, that motherfucker was the gateway for technical progressive metal.
Yeah, of course.
Rush was always, I'm like, are they rock? Are they metal? I don't know. I can never tell. And I'm a huge Rush fan myself, and I never know that those guys don't get enough credit. I know they got a massive following, and there are people who are just Rush heads, but they still don't get a lot of credit for also bridging the gap in rock and metal.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you're really deeply into the rock and even metal genre, like, you know who Rush is.
Yeah.
Everybody knows who Rush is. If you're into it. I mean, maybe casual fans. I know a lot of females don't know who Rush is.
Yeah.
They don't have a lot of female fans. I know. That's what I've always heard. I never got to see Rush
That's funny
live.
too. You would think. I mean, because Geddy's voice is pretty universal. I mean.
Yeah, it's like, as Lost in Vegas says, it's like a Disney voice.
It's a Disney
He
voice.
could sing on Disney tunes.
He could.
You know, that's what they say all the time.
That's awesome.
Very happy. Very happy. I did listen to Permanent Waves when I found out he died, which is my favorite Rush record.
Waves,
it's my favorite Rush record.
Oh man, so good. We might have to put on some Rush.
We'll do that.
Yeah.
We'll do that. And leading into that, I mean, probably somebody that was heavily influenced by him, I would think, that also passed was Sean Reiner.
Yeah, man.
Who played in Death and his band Cynic. Yeah, he played on Deaf Human. Yeah. And
he changed.
Incredible jazz drummer. Incredible.
Yeah, he changed death metal drumming.
Changed Death.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Paul Masvidal together just changed it.
Yeah.
They helped change Chuck, and Chuck was like, "Fuck, man, I got something great. I'm gonna use you guys for one record."
But yeah, I mean, you can hear like even Chuck kind of going that way on Spiritual. I think they just helped him put it over the top.
Yeah, they helped him.
He definitely had some songs with Spiritual Healing. You could see it kind of going that way. And
for sure.
But Reiner definitely, man. I actually listened to that album last night, and that performance on there, that's what I focused on. I actually turned the bass up so I could really hear the drums.
Is it Vacant Planets? Is it Vacant Planets that's on that? Man, just the drumming and everything. Yeah, it's just
the whole
awesome.
album. It's just I remember first hearing him for the first time, and I've never heard drumming like this. It's not just fast, not super heavy. It's the fills, like the.
So Chuck's death in general, they just took death metal to another level.
Yeah, there was kind of like
he was always ahead of everybody.
Like the pioneer.
He wanted to. I mean, that was the thing. He knew he wanted to be ahead of everybody else.
And he was. He definitely was. I mean, he moved like, it's funny because they were like a death thrash outfit. Yeah. And then by the end, he was a full-on progressive death, like technical.
I was going to say a really assholey thing, but I'm not going to.
What?
No.
Leave it be.
Leave it be. Yeah, it's not appropriate. Maybe off there, but still. And another thing with Sean Reinhardt.
Reinhardt, yeah.
I've heard it.
Reinhardt.
I say Reinhardt.
Reinhardt.
Yeah, because it's ERT. Yeah, so
Reinhardt. All right, well, whatever. Being a gay man.
The organ thing.
Yeah, that kind of really threw me for a loop. Did you hear about that?
No.
So his husband posted a big thing how he's like, on top of losing my husband, who's an organ donor, his organs can't be used for anything because he's a
gay man.
Because he's gay. Mm-hmm. And I know the same thing with when you donate blood, they ask a lot of the same questions too, and they try to trick you. Like,
why are they afraid of HIV infection?
Yeah,
I think that's what it probably started as, and it's probably one of those things they just never looked.
I thought we were on the cusp of like literally having.
It's pretty much there, but it's they want to be able to make the most money.
A cure for HIV.
Again, I think it's just one of those
cure for HIV.
Archaic old rules that just needs to be looked at again. Like
we have blood tests that'll tell you in probably 20 seconds. You probably. But it's just, it blows my mind. I remember years ago when I used to donate blood to the blood drives and stuff, you would have to fill out this questionnaire, and they would, like I said, they try to trick you into having gay sex or admitting that you had gay sex. So like, have you had anal sex in the United States in the past 6 months? And you're like, no. Or like, have you had it in the past 6 months? It's like, no. And then it's like, have you had it outside of the States in the past 6 months? So they would try to like,
have you had it with someone that has a dong just like you? Aha, we got you. Yeah. I mean, you can still have anal sex with your partner who's not.
That's
is of the opposite.
Yeah. It's just it's like Marco said. It's one of those things that probably back in the day.
We all slip in the dark, It's quick. You're talking about a couple centimeters.
Yeah, I've gotten that a couple times.
Come on. So yeah, technically we've all had anal sex. Technically,
we all slip.
If you are heterosexual, we have all admit it. You're all liars. You're all fucking liars. You've all had a slip. Stop it. You always get the wrong hole. Man. All right. So
you're a virgin?
Yeah.
That's my belly button.
Sean Reinhardt, man. Yeah. R.I.P. dude.
R.I.P. And another one, real quick, didn't get a lot of love. Not really a metal drummer, but for me he was big because he was in a band called Warzone, which is actually one of my favorite bands of all time. They're a hardcore band from New York. And Vinny Value also passed away. He was in a band called No Redeeming Social Value. I know these guys don't really know much about that, so I'm not going to really talk about it.
You know what? It's great that his name is recognized, and that's what matters, man.
Yeah, man. And he was big. Warzone was a big band for me. Still to this day, one of my most listened to bands. I listen to in general. I still listen to Don't Forget the Struggle, Don't Forget the Streets, even though I don't think he was actually on that album. He was on later records, but still. You know, he was in the band when I saw them live in 96 before their singer died, and that I did them, unfortunately. So, rest in peace to them. And also, my last one, another one, the biggest one for me was Reed Mullet from Corrosion to Conformity. I got to meet Reed several occasions. A good friend of mine from the cruise, Janet, actually knows him. She actually played bass with them on the cruise with COC. They invited her on stage to play a punk song with them, like a cover.
That's cool.
And last time they played Providence, she got me in the show, and he was there, and he just hung out with us the whole time. He's a super sweet guy, great stories. I think anybody that's ever met him would say he's one of the best people in the music industry. And no, big rest in peace to him. I mean, he for me hit the hardest just because I've actually met the guy.
Yeah, he's got a personal touch. You hung out with him. You listen to his stories. You're not just reading about him on paper. Like, you met him in the flesh.
Yeah. And it's just, rest in peace to him, man. I mean, that band, too, was very, big for me, too, going in the mid-90s.
What are they going to do now? Are they going to replace him?
Oh, he's been replaced. He hasn't been in the band in, 2 years because he had some personal issues. I don't really want to get into it, but he's had some personal issues that they had to relieve him.
That's the hard part. Is, we know Rush now is done. Sean Reinhardt, I mean, I don't think we were ever going to anticipate seeing anything from Cynic again. I know Cynic did festivals and shit, but that's done.
Yeah, well, I saw Cynic in, I think, one of their last tours. It was the 2014 cruise. They played, it was them and Death to All.
They're done, but they're done.
So they did double duty. Yeah, they've been done, yeah. Him and Paul had a falling out, so...
There was one more. Didn't the dude from DRI pass away? One of the old.
Oh, that's right, the bass player. I forget his name though. I wish I did got that down. I forget. Paul, I think something. I can't remember.
Yeah, it just popped in my head. I should have.
But he did die. Yeah. He passed away too. So rest in peace to him. I think he was original player maybe.
Wait,
who?
Original, yeah.
The original bass player of. I think it was the original bass player of DRI. I'm gonna look it up while you guys riff a bit.
Yeah, so a lot, and this is all within the past month.
Dude, it's been tough for metal. It's funny, we hit 50 years, but it's been a massive wave of deaths in the metal community, and it sucks.
Three drummers.
But what's cool is that we talk about it, we share the knowledge of it, and it just keeps the metal flowing. I mean, that's the whole point. So that these people put a mark, on the history of metal in some way, shape, or form, even though they're not recognized massively, from shitty American pop culture. These are the things that these artists put a lot of time and effort and sacrifice their lives to travel and play for all of us. And I think that's the main thing is we all need to recognize, and kind of leads me into just the whole thought and concept around people giving artists shit for wanting to make money for meet and greets or wanting to make money for anything. That's what they fucking do. They have to make money. If they want to sell you a pair of drumsticks for $50 signed, who gives a shit? You don't have to buy them if you don't want to buy them. But you have to understand, these people, this is what they're doing to make money. And then you want them to make a record every fucking year because you want something new, but you don't realize that this is their livelihood. They have to take time to go into a studio. They have to take time to pay for the record. They have to take time to pay for materials, all this shit. And all we do as people who consume is go, I want more, I want more, I want more. But these people are fucking making sacrifices to give us the platforms and the media to be able to listen to stuff. So don't be so harsh on social media when you're like, oh, I'm not fucking paying for that, or I think you're just trying to make a buck. Well, yeah, that's how they get paid. You go to work every day and you listen to music. The artists need to find a way to make money too. So that's part of it. They're not, none of these guys are Metallica. Let's remember that. These people are not Metallica making millions just sitting on their ass, not even having to play. Everybody, they're all out there struggling now. It's a completely different world from what it was into the 90s through in prior to that. It's been a decline. So try to support artists. If they have stuff, if they're selling shit, don't give them shit for it. Buy something, or don't say anything at all.
Yeah, and just to get back to the DRI, it was Josh Pappy, or Pap, P-A-P-P-E. I'm not really sure how to say it.
Huh.
He played on Crossover and Four of a Kind, which were two of their big records. Crossover is probably their biggest record of all time, if I had to guess. So he definitely had a big influence on that band. I mean, it's just crazy. Anyway, that was our death segment. Hopefully we don't have to do that one too often. Not really my favorite thing to talk about.
No, not every month. We don't.
No. Once in a while it's fine. But I mean, man, it was a crazy month. I mean, some big losses in the industry,
especially for drummers like Kevin.
Now,
Three
three
drummers.
And they were like right in a row. The drummers
they
were
always
right in a
say death comes in threes. It's kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you get 3 drummers that pass.
row. Right in a row. Yeah.
Right in a row.
It's
kind of wild.
Yep. Now, what Kevin mentioned earlier, I was thinking of things we could talk about, and I was trying to figure out a fun way to talk about like favorite records, since it is the 50th anniversary of metal, or birthday, whatever you want to call it, same thing, I guess. But
we starting with the 70s?
Yeah, man, I wanted to do like favorite record of the decade, and maybe why, like something about the record, why it's big on you. And obviously, like, it might not be like the most known record to people, but everything has an influence on every individual, man. So I want to hear like why the record was probably your favorite from that period. You know what I mean? So let's start with the 70s. Who wants to go first?
Doug, you go.
All right, I'll jump in. So when we first talked about this, I thought we were going to do like a definitive, not necessarily my favorite, but definitely a definitive from the 70s.
Which is fine too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
I
think
kinda-
it's going to be... when we all say favorite, we're going to have like 20 favorites, so it's hard
Yeah,
to
they're-
just,
yeah.
Just something that I think did something for the genre in that decade.
That's fine.
And that's why I kind of...
I did it a little different. I did it personal.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Okay.
So it's cool. We're doing it all different
Because I
ways.
kind of wrote... Yeah, so...
That's fine.
So obviously Black Sabbath. And that's why we're talking about this.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Rainbow Rising.
Ooh,
I
good
think-
choice, you prick.
That was a top 3 one for me.
Okay.
Top 3.
That, and then, I did have JP on there too, a little Judas Priest. But,
Yeah.
but I think
That
Rainbow...
was also in the top 3.
I just think what Rainbow did. I mean, think about Dio in general. Just what he did. He wasn't in 1 great band. He wasn't in 2 great bands. He was in 3 great bands.
Yeah.
And he did a lot for just metal in general, and especially going way back. It's not like he just blew up and he did 3 bands in the '90s. Like his career spanned almost as long as metal's been around.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean,
So-
I would have to say it's pretty much right at the beginning. I mean,
Yeah,
Elf was
that
early
was a
70s.
very good one. Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to slap Rainbow Rising out there as probably one of the more definitive besides Black Sabbath. Black
Awesome,
Sabbath in
man.
the
That's a
70s.
great choice. Kevin.
For 70s, I'm gonna go Priest because I was thinking I hate you. I was thinking Rainbow. But yeah, I would say Judas Priest. Man, there's too many records to pick from. But I'd go with Sin After Sin.
See, that's the difference between me and you. I'd go with Sad Wings myself.
Would you really?
Yeah. I like Sad Wings a little bit. It could
Just
only
right from the start.
Yeah, man. I just for me, but they're both excellent records. There's no wrong answer there.
Nobody likes
in my
Steel
opinion.
Yeah, but no, dude. No. You know what though? I love Rock and Rolla too, dude. Rock and Rolla's that's their first record. People forget about that. They think Sad Wings is the first record.
That's true.
It's
And Rock
not.
and Roll came out what, like 70?
Rock and
75.
roll a woman for
74,
a
I
rock
thought.
and roll a man.
74.
Yeah, it's
Sad
good.
Wings was I think 76. Sin After Sin and Sad Wings I think came out the same year.
Really?
I think so. Or like Sin After Sin was like the year after. That's back when they like bands used to literally release record after record after record after record.
Back then, like the cost of not to get into like economics and all that shit, but like inflation and this and that. 'Cause back then, everything was cheaper. Like you could take a month off from work. It's not,
So-
now it's like if I don't work,
So the cool part about that record was they did a really good Joan Baez cover, Diamonds and Rust,
Yeah.
which has just followed them forever. And for them to take a folk song and just fucking turn it into gold,
They've done that a few times.
Yeah.
Green Man Alicia.
Yes, Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah, Fleetwood Mac.
Green Man Alicia. I mean, these guys, they've always been able to take covers and make them their own, and people love it.
Better Than You,
But
Better Than Me
Sinner
is also
just-
a cover too. I don't remember who.
I forget who does it.
Yeah,
too,
but
I
that
know,
one's
yeah.
that one surprised
I
me.
didn't know that.
Yeah. And then they've been covered a lot as
And
well.
then the government tried to put them away in prison for that song too.
For which one?
Better by You, Better Than Me. The lyrics from that song.
Why?
Don't you remember Judas Priest's whole case in the 80s? They were almost put away because
Yeah,
the kid
they were
killed,
one of the bands, yeah.
This
Oh,
kid
with, like, the
killed
whole-
somebody
yeah.
and then killed himself, and they were like, "Oh, it's because the kid wrote in a suicide note because of Judas Priest," and so they had to go through this whole court case.
They
It,
could have been like,
almost-
"It's not even a song."
It almost crippled the band.
Wow.
Like that's when Halford basically, it was the late 80s, and that's when Halford was already thinking about quitting Priest. Because of that, he was like, it already started. He's like, this is just fucking too much. I need a break. Then they put out the fucking best Priest record of all time, and then he left after that. But I mean, it was just kind of that. That's what started his decline. Of he was just like, this is too much mentally. It's taxing.
It made for a great Sacred Right song though.
But yeah, for me, Sin After Sin started them to get. At that time, nobody in the late 70s was doing the speed that Priest was doing.
Absolutely.
1977. Nobody was doing it.
That's the truth. And my pick is going to be Black Sabbath, man. It's going to be Master of Reality.
Oh, fucking great choice.
Just because, honestly, it's my favorite record by them. It's been my favorite record by them. It's got probably 3 of my favorite top 10 Black Sabbath songs of all time. I think Lord of This World is one of the biggest inspirations for Doom. I think Into the Void is just one of the best metal songs ever written. And Children of the Grave, come on, what more do I have to say? Children of the Grave might be
that riff we've
best
already talked about.
Yeah,
man.
we already
that
did.
is
We already
the
brought
thrash
it up.
riff of every.
It was the proto-thrash riff. And that's what I liked about that album. I think that's where they were like a little more, even Solitude, you know.
Dude, Solitude.
Oh, I was gonna say
phenomenal.
they could bring it and then they could slow it down and fucking. Oh, Solitude's amazing.
It's an amazing song, and they put it right in the middle of like some great songs, some slappers, as they say these days.
What's it? Solitude right into? Is it After Forever?
No, Into the Void.
Into the Void.
Oh, Into the Void.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure because After Forever is the second song on the album.
Okay, maybe it's the other way around then.
Yeah, it could be. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I listened to it yesterday too. I should know. But awesome, man! Freaking fantastic record. My favorite Sabbath record forever and a day, and then my second Heaven and Hell, by the way. But
Is it really?
oh yeah, man! I love that fucking record.
Okay.
Dude.
Honorable mention, I would say like Highway Star and like what Deep Purple
Oh,
did.
Machine Head.
Yeah.
Machine Head. Yeah, that's a good one. I actually that was in like my probably top 10. And Kevin already mentioned another honorable mention, and I can't remember the name of the album, so excuse me. But like Sir Lord Baltimore's first record, if that is indeed metal. That's got to be up there. And I don't know, actually, it might have come out in 69, but whatever, I'm going to count it anyway.
Yeah, you guys got to check out Sir Lord
Yeah.
of Baltimore. It's the first record, very, very, very awesome, heavy doom record. It's great.
That brings us to the 80s, man.
It's the 80s. This is like
is
actually
a
kind
tough
of like
one.
the main event. Because like
this is when it started to spiderweb in 100 different ways,
Yeah.
and depending on...
So I'll go first on this one, man, because I just got some thoughts that came into my head. Like, this was the hardest for me. The debate was crazy. Like, do I go with like Kill 'Em All or Peace of Mind because those are the 2 albums that really jump-started metal for me, or do I go with an album that influenced everything I fucking listen to this day? So I decided to do the latter. So I went with Slayer, Hell Awaits.
Son of a bitch.
Is that yours?
That was one of them. I had 3. That was like the top one.
Yeah.
All 3 Slayer.
So,
Yeah, they're all 3 too.
honestly, Slayer Hell Awaits to me influenced death metal, and I think it brought thrash in a whole different direction. If you had to say that Slayer had a semi-progressive record, not to say it's progressive, but semi-progressive, that would be the album that they actually played like these awesome riffs, like Kill Again, like almost black metal-y.
And the bass lines, too.
The bass line is
Holy shit.
I mean, that album to me, like to this now, like when I was younger, I probably listened to South of Heaven and Seasons of the Abyss and Rain of Blood and even Show No Mercy. I probably listened to more than Hell Awaits. But now that I'm older and wiser, that has become my favorite record. I listen to that record actually probably 100 times more than any other record by them. Probably my favorite thrash record to now. It never wasn't for a long time, but in the last 3-4 years, it's really jumped up. Wow. So right there, I think honestly, like we're dealing possibly top like 5 total record, probably favorite thrash record. And
Incredibly underrated.
criminally underrated.
Yeah.
And man, fucking love that record.
Everyone jumps right over it. They're like, yeah, Show No Mercy, and then Haunting the Chapel, and right into Rain, and it got skipped over, but. In 85, that was relatively early.
Yeah, and Possessed came out the same year. I think it was a little later. And like Death came out the year or 2 later, and I think Death really like took like Scream Bloody Gore. I think was just a direct inspiration from a lot.
But they already
parts
had
of
Mantis, so they get earlier recognition.
Earlier Craig.
They did.
Earlier
But
Craig.
Slayer was around. Well, then Possessed. Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't it 87? Wasn't Scream Bloody Gore 87?
87. Yeah. Possessed 7 Churches was 85.
But Mantis wasn't even. It was all demo-y shit. It wasn't.
And
really,
it was all garbage sounding. If you
We could really. Everybody could. Well, this band started this. Yeah. They didn't. Let's just call it by what was their first record that people knew. Mainstream record, not even mainstream, just first fucking full length record.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, the 80s were...
And for you, Douglas.
That's a tough one. Well, Hell Awaits is definitely one. Like I said, not just favorite album, but like, I think it was very important for the genre.
Right. It was very important for the genre, in my opinion.
I'm going to go with probably P-Cells and Creator Endless Pain.
No, you can't do 2.
I just did.
You got 1.
Fine.
Pick it.
P-Cells.
P-Cells. Yeah.
You fucking...
That was in my top 5.
I fucking hate you guys. You're gonna make me think outside of the damn box.
That's the one you were
just
going to
do
go
it
with?
easy. I haven't even thought about... I'm thinking on the fly.
Yeah.
All right, I already know mine, so it's fine.
So I think just what P-Cells was doing at its time was far ahead of its time as far as the jazz inspiration. Gar Samuelson.
Yeah.
Dude, Gar Samuelson on drums. Yeah.
He was just doing shit that just.
And Chris Poland too.
And
man.
Chris Poland, you're right.
Chris Poland was.
They just found that perfect mix, and I know we've talked about this a lot before, but just that perfect mix of metal and jazz, and it did something that.
And a lot of people, I don't know why they don't know that. I mean, even we were talking about '85, and that '85 was like the year of things started to go different directions for a couple bands. Fucking Killing was out in '85, you know, and that tape even was mixing in '84 in the underground circuit. And like, I remember watching a documentary where Scott Ian got a hold of in '84 Dave's tape, and he was just like, "What the fuck is this?"
He just wanted to be faster. That was what it was all about on that album.
Fast, but man, I mean, you could hear the jazz influence from both Gar and Chris, and they were just they just blew it out of the water, man, with the first two records, you know. But of course, Peace Sells was the major debut. It was '86, and they crushed it with that.
And again, that's actually like, you know, top 5 record for me. I had a feeling somebody was going to bring it up, so I kept it off of that one. Because Megadeth, that's one of my favorite records.
And the other part that we all love is artwork. I feel like
artwork,
that album defines that perfect combination of music and art. I mean, yeah, we could go back to the 70s. I'm just saying, in metal in general.
In metal, yeah. Metal
the
artwork.
skull, the representation of dystopian fucking worlds and shit. I mean...
definitely pulling from Iron Maiden's influence, though.
100%.
Yeah. I mean, Iron Maiden is the
100%.
definitive album cover band.
No, that's true. But
Derek Riggs.
But as far as you know, Repka took kind of what the album was about and kind of, they're political.
Thrash.
They're still
thrash.
kind of, and that's like the quintessential
Thrash like artwork is because of Repka.
There's bands even till as of late that have a very similar vibe. You know, that was kind of one of those.
If we were to talk about, we should do that. We should do a mascot talk someday. That would be fucking sick.
Do that
but
on our next
but
episode.
Riggs gets hands down the credit for mascots. He started the mascot wave, but let's not go into that because we'll ruin it.
What about Motorhead? All right, yeah, we'll...
What about Motorhead?
How about you, Kev?
Fuck you and fuck that. I would say, all right, I'm gonna throw in Testament, New Order.
Okay. That's a brilliant
You know
record.
what?
That's my favorite Testament record.
Yeah, dude, because the combination of just amazing thrash with so the thing with Testament was, they're not original. They didn't start in the early 80s like everyone else, but it was the perfect combination of Megadeth's lead section mixed with the vocals of Metallica and the fast drumming of just that general thrash, you know. Lou Clemente wasn't the greatest drummer, but he was...
The terrible drummer, actually.
Donald. Why do you think he got his selling art? He got out of the trade.
Yeah, he got out of the trade at the right time. But the drumming for the time period was
fine, yeah.
was solid.
It was solid.
And he could drum just as good as Lars. He was up there, man. They were on the same scale.
He wasn't Lombardo, but he was Lars.
Yeah.
Sure.
He was Lars.
Even though Lars in the 80s was pretty magnificent.
He was
I
good.
think the shit he was doing on Master and even like...
but they were better. They were still better.
Injustice even. Injustice had some really good drumming.
Yeah. They
really
were good. Still, he still overused the snare on that album too.
Well,
though,
I think the Bob Rock influence, like it just changed him forever, and then he just became lazy because they got really rich.
Yeah, he's lazy.
Don't have to work as hard.
He's super lazy. But I would say, you know, like I would say definitely New Order. I mean, I could even go. I'd probably even go as far as saying like even. Well, I can only give one. I gave you shit for giving one. I was gonna say my other one would have been Defiance, Product of Society,
Which is a good rare pick. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a good rare
absolutely.
pick.
Another Repka.
Not a lot of people know them.
Yeah,
and
especially that earlier
you know
album.
what? It's vocals. If everybody likes that vocal style, the James Hetfield style,
and it's
those
totally
guys.
fucking Testament.
Yeah.
That album is totally like a Testament.
And again, a lot more jazzy, and the drummer's
Better.
way like who's the fucking drummer? This dude's in the wrong band. Like that motherfucker's now playing for. He's in New York playing for Broadway. He's doing Broadway shit. So he was like
probably Broadway pays
because he's nasty too. The dude was a jazz drummer in high school. So but yeah, those guys were great too. But
Insomnia off that album, one of my favorite metal influence songs.
Yeah,
I mean horror influence songs.
And I want to honestly give one honorable mention just because before I forget, I want to say Death Leprosy was like my second pick, just because
80s,
because I think that album just really made death metal what it was. it formed death metal, and it made it
flowing into the 90s as it went into the early 90s.
And I think that album was very, very, very important in the death metal scene. But that's what I got there.
All right, we're heading into the 90s.
Just one last one. I'm surprised.
Here we go. Bad pants, rainbows, and fucking.
That was more early 2000s, wasn't it?
No,
it was
early
like late
90s. They had
Yeah,
like the
so
tie dye rainbow shirts, and then it was like bleached hair, grunge.
I think that's true. Real quick, I want to know what your honorable mention is. You don't have to explain it, but just I want to know.
Not so much an honorable mention, but Venom. I know like black metal Venom was for the whole other, black and thrash and obviously the black metal genre.
I got you.
So that one there, I know I'm not a humongous Venom fan.
No, but they were very influential.
They
I
were.
got you. Okay,
Shout
back to 90s.
Shout out to Jeremy Kling.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, 90s. Kevin, why don't you start 90s off? I don't think you've started one off yet. You got it? If not, we can go.
No, I do have it. For me, it's just the album that sticks out, man. I give all the credit to Doug, but dude, fucking Sound of Perseverance from Death. That album changed in the 90s when there was a load of shit. Yeah, I could have easily picked Rust in Peace from Megadeth.
That's what I thought you were going to go with.
But I didn't, for the very reason of that record for me personally changed my outlook on metal. It got me back. It helped me think about metal in a different way. I started to listen to a lot more early death metal because of it. I started to listen to more progressive metal. That album's the reason why I listen to Opeth, and I'm the biggest Opeth cunt because of Sound of Perseverance. I was like, what the fuck is this? I didn't know that you could have all of these odd time signatures come back for great melody, have great choruses, and oh, by the way, just like the Priest fucking elements that they took, just amazing. Yeah, I could even go with Priest, for
Painkiller.
Dude, Painkiller, I could easily go with that, but it's got Painkiller on there. So and Chuck did a very good job at singing Painkiller.
I thought he did too.
So
and they chose different leads on that too. There's some different guitar parts, and I think they just nailed it. They kind of just made it their own.
They did such a beautiful job with that record, and then it got us into the whole Travis Smith artwork, and I love the artwork. So yeah, that's it. That for me. That defined. I kind of came out of my shithole shell that I was stuck in the 90s.
Especially in the late 90s. There was.
I was gonna say $3 Billy All from Limp Bizkit is a defining moment, but
Shit, you got mine. Nah.
Way to blow my nut, Kevin.
God damn it. Korn's first record was good, though. I did enjoy that. I still enjoy that. I actually listened to that the other day.
Did you
but
see
it's not
the
my
top
choice.
5 records in a national, like in a poll on like Kerrang or one of those fucking sites? They did the top 5 influential metal albums of all time. Number 1 was obviously Black Sabbath. Mm-hmm. It was Korn.
Yeah, not surprised.
And yeah, dude, but it was like amazing to see the top 5 records that
really like Korn.
Random
they were
ass.
huge.
They changed. They're the reason why we got shitty fucking metal riffs for a couple decades. We had some shitty bands, dude. It was their fault.
That was a good 10-year span. Yeah.
It was their fault.
Maybe 7-year span.
Think
was really
about
bad.
it. When Korn's first record came out, everyone after that wanted to do that stupid wah wah wah.
Yeah, and I hate to say it, even though I'm not the biggest fan, but I do like their first 3 albums a whole lot. I think Lamb of God's what really helped bring it back in.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I think Lamb of God really. I think if it wasn't
they
for
played
Lamb of
a lot
God,
on Testament riffs, but
they
dude,
just kind of made it their own.
Lamb of God is an amazing band, and they're super talented dudes.
Yeah, I like them. I think they're okay. Band.
Is that your pick?
No. Lamb of God came out like more of the 2000s.
2000s, yeah.
But anyway.
American Golf might have came out in 99. Or it might have been. No, it was probably 2000. It was around the cusp.
Burn the Priest was in the 90s.
Yeah, that was the 90s.
So everyone's probably going to think that I'm going to choose Dissection, Storm of the Lights.
Actually, that was what I was going with, yeah.
Wow, I didn't.
Which, yeah, I'm choosing that.
Oh, okay.
But secondly is going to be Heartwork, Carcass.
Really?
Great record.
Never pictured you.
For the 90s, man, it was just...
I didn't even think about that record. That's a great record.
Heartwork changed the course of Melodeath.
Yeah.
Are you getting paid right now?
From Carcass?
Well, you don't like that album?
No, it's a good album, but for the early 90s, I mean...
I think it's
one of the best albums ever made. I mean, it really did, spawn melodic death metal.
Melodic death metal, really?
Oh, absolutely. So? Oh, yeah, it was one of the biggest sparks in it.
Not In Flames?
That was
a little later, wasn't it?
No.
I thought that was 95 In Flames.
Heartwork was 95, I think.
We're in the 90s.
93.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
We're in the 90s. Doesn't matter.
Not saying. I'm just saying. I think Carcass
Are you
was
sure
like
it was
the first.
93?
I think so.
Artwork?
Yeah, it might have been.
Popeye, what's your opinion?
Agreed.
Yeah.
But anyway, what you could go more into your reasoning.
I just think it's especially to see what Carcass had kind of done years before, and then put out. I don't say it's their black album, but it's one of those albums that they found their sound and they went with it. They perfected it, and it's just a very influential album.
No shit. Okay.
Mm-hmm. It came out in '93.
So when did
The Absence would probably.
What did like Lunar Strain and
It was later than that.
Like 95, 96?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Everybody in Sweden put out an album in 94, 95.
Like Slaughter of the Soul's another one you could say, but that came out in '95.
Opeth Orchid came out in 95.
Yeah.
It's funny I didn't say Opeth for my 90s pick.
I know.
Yeah.
You know what I would have gone with?
But it was something that led into it, though.
You know what I would have gone with? I would have gone with Still Life, 99. Because that changed metal going into 99. That record is untouched going into the 2000s. But I mean, for me, Definitive was sound.
So I'm going to go with Dissection as well. That's going to be my real pick, just because I think that opened up the door for me.
So ultimately, it's Dissection.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You only get one pick, Doug.
It's Dissection.
Not multiple flavors.
That's my favorite album cover, favorite song. Everything's pretty much on that album. But it just opened the door for me when I was young into black metal and death metal, really. It's like one of those albums that...
And Satanism.
And Satanism, yeah.
Sure.
Hail the Dark Lord.
Hail the Dark Lord.
So for me, I was really conflicted on this because the 90s is basically where all came up in music. There was a lot of really good albums that fucking came out in the 90s. You know, like, I could go, honestly, Cowboys from Hell from Pantera if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Because I love that record, man. I can go, you know, honestly, for me, in the 90s, but it doesn't, you know, do well like Fear Factor, Demanufacture. I love that record back in the day. But for me, today, it doesn't really do much for me.
Seven Dust, self-titled? Anyone?
I liked it. But look, I'm going to go with an album. I don't know if it's necessarily even a metal record, but it was a heavy record. So I'm going to go with it. And it's still probably my favorite album of all time to this day. I still listen to it all the fucking time, and it's Life of Agony, River Runs Red.
Good pick, man.
Is my absolute favorite. It might be my favorite album of all time. I think growing up as a teenager, and the album's basically a concept record about like a teenager with a bad home life, and you know he kills himself at the end. But like the songs bring you through like these depression.
Spoiler alert.
Whatever. It only came out in 1994, but you know this. It just goes through the waves. It shows why he's depressed. Every song's got a story, and I could actually relate a lot to those songs at the time. Now, did I foresee myself relating to it when I'm 40 years old? No, but it's amazing I still do.
But what an amazing album!
Yeah, and I love the art cover.
And they've never been able to top that.
They never even came close.
Not even
never.
Close.
I mean, I like
even though they're doing a sequel now.
Yeah, it's not going to come close.
I already heard one song, and I'm never going to listen to it again.
Yeah.
They will never be able to top that.
No, and the thing is, if you do go see them live now, the singer is now a female.
She looks fucking amazing.
And but they still play pretty much every song off that record anyway. So you're going to see that record. So like if you go see them live, it's actually a fantastic experience. But
I still need to. They keep evading me as well.
Yeah, that record, man, is just I don't know, dude. I remember us actually
great choice,
jamming it on the way back from like Kettlehead one day. And
empty.
Yeah,
I think there's actually a video. One of our first vintage Burn live videos was us in the car.
Yeah. So again, not necessarily, I guess, a metal record, but a heavy record, and definitely they're considered more a hardcore band. I don't think they're even really a hardcore band. But that's it for me, man. And
it's one of those records. No matter what your genre was, that seems like a good common album. I know black metal dudes that love it. I know punks that love it. I know, it's just a.
And Dissection was actually a top 3 pick for me. Oh. That was in there. And what was my other one? I had another one. At the Heart of Winter, Immortal.
Okay.
Was also another really big one for me. So I'm gonna go though with Life of Agony.
Nice, great choice. So now that brings us to the 2000s.
Sure. What do you got,
Kev? I want to go last on this one.
That's fine. You gotta remember what I picked. I forgot my notes.
Fuck, the 2000s.
You want me to go first?
So are we talking like...
I remember my
from 2000 to 2010.
That's it? Just 10 years? Not
the 2000 teens, yeah. Not
now.
up to the 20s, yeah.
Okay. For me, that's an easy one. I would have to say Watershed from Opeth.
There you go. I knew Opeth would be mentioned eventually.
Yeah.
Luckily, Opeth didn't put out an album in every decade.
It's just because of their...
Keep it short, Kevin.
Yeah.
Kevin could talk about Opeth
So we're
going to
dissect the album. It starts with Coil. Okay, the opening track.
There's a few reasons.
We're going to break down each riff of each song on this album.
I'd like to talk about the arpeggios and the ability for them to use string skipping. No, it's just, I mean, overall, man, they got, it was the first record with Freddie, and they picked up Axe from Bloodbath, and they just crushed it. They did a really good mix of everything. You can't define the record. It's metal, it's acoustic, it's fucking prog rock. It's just got a lot of great shit on it. And it was just a breakthrough album for me to get, again, into other stuff. It's like I went from Death, Sound Perseverance to Watershed, and it just kind of helped me. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. And Travis Smith's artwork, it's cool. It's a cool live photo of a dude sitting at a desk, and it's got dark shades of black and green, and it's just a dark, dark record.
Yeah,
Good choice.
for me, it was up to 2 records. I mean, like, I just came off really, like, being really into hardcore, like, in the early 2000s. And I started kind of rediscovering. And one of the albums that really helped me rediscover it was Creator, Violent Revolution.
Oh.
Okay, not necessarily my favorite record, but it really got me into metal again. But my pick, honestly, it re-emerged me into death metal, like, hardcore, was Dying Fetus.
Oh.
Destroy the Opposition.
Okay.
Fucking brutality, slams, fucking conscious lyrics, even though the band's name is Dying Fetus.
Yeah.
Really, like, political, really, like, in-your-face shit, man. It really re-inspired me to listen to stuff that I listened to in the past, like Suffocation, and it opened the door to even more stuff, like The Eats of Flesh. Mm-hmm. And I kept going and going and going, and now I'm, like, the biggest death metal head. One of the biggest death metal bands I know, or I know, like, but Kevin says it all the time. That's my shit, the death metal.
Yeah.
And man, Dying Fetus, that album alone, even that album cover with Uncle Sam on it, and, I'm talking about all the bullshit around it.
Yeah.
Man, it's just a fucking, like, very powerful record. And the drumming, it was revolutionary. I think it was Kevin Talley was the drummer on that record. One of the best, death metal drummers out there. Fucking, that's it, man. I love that record, man. It really reinvigorated my love for the metal.
That's why, it's because I've actually been meaning to kind of revisit them, some of those older records.
Yeah.
Now
That and Killing on Adrenaline, those two, man, I can listen to those all day.
All right, so I got technically 2, but one of them I think you're all going to agree with, so that's not going to be my real one.
Him is 2.
Yeah.
Kill Switch Engage Alive or just brilliant.
Oh, that's a great record, man. That's a top 5.
I did not expect that out of your mouth.
I know.
It's a great record, though.
Can you say that again?
You heard? Nope. You can rewind and listen to it later.
Somewhere Paul Bianchi's going, I told them it was me.
It's I remember seeing them at like Metal Hardcore Fest, the second one,
Yeah,
like 10 years before he got into
I saw him at Bill's bar with 10 people watching them.
Yeah.
Like
I mean they were like
You're not wrong. They changed.
When I say Metal Hardcore Fest, I mean they played at like 2 in the
I
afternoon.
know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
They
that
changed the face of metal forever since then. It's never really gone back. Even the bands who, like In Flames, were like, had paved the way for them to do the mellow death sound, they incorporated hardcore into it, and then In Flames is like, we want to be like these guys.
And super religious lyrics.
Yeah, I mean
super religious.
Yeah,
lyrics.
because he was, and I don't know if he's anymore.
Jesse.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that album is so.
I think he's a
really
vegan.
Listen to
I think
the
he's a
record,
vegan
man.
now. That just throws everything else
Yeah.
out.
That's also why Doug picked it.
Yeah.
Now, what's your
That's
main?
also why I picked Howard too.
Yeah.
Jeff Walker.
What's your main record though? That's not the one.
It's gonna be another vegan. Creator, Enemy of God.
Okay, that's a great record. That was
2006.
Again,
that really fucking.
That was on my tops.
I thought Thrash was dying out. Like Warbringer, I think they had demo out at the time, but fucking Enemy of God came out, and I'm like, there's hope.
Yeah.
That's coming from a vegan from Germany. Millie's a vegan.
Oh, you vegans!
Another one that I considered heavily was Overkill Iron.
Oh, you vegans are fake metal.
That's 2012.
Oh,
you're not hardcore.
Okay.
You're not hardcore. You eat plant-based items.
Finish your thought and go right into the 2010s.
Yeah,
since you already spoiled it.
Mine's Ironbound. That was such a. Of course, I had 2.
What was your second one first?
Would have been Heathen.
Heathen. Okay.
Oh yeah,
Evolution to Chaos. I think those 2 were
great record.
Amazing. Like comeback, I would say for Heathen, then Return to Form for Overkill. But those albums were just like, I'm like, wow. 10 years later, after Enemy of God came out, and all of a sudden these came out, it's like, wow, there's still hope, So.
All right. So for me, I had a hard time picking my 2010s because, it was between 2 records. One was kind of old, and it is what I know, so I like that one. But the one that I really was conflicted with was one that's kind of different, which was Rivers and Isle, Where Owls Know My Name.
Oh.
I love that record.
Good record,
I
man.
listen to that record all the time. Ultimately, wasn't my pick. Had good use of saxophone and
Fuck yeah, man! You're the one who got me. That is a really, really good record.
it is.
and
It's different.
I hope they continue down that path.
Me too. Just doing something completely different. But
Good.
my actual pick, I went with something I know and something that's very familiar to me, was Carcass, Surgical Steel. It's probably their best record, honestly. That and Heartwork, I really debate those two records. I really believe that Surgical Steel might be their best record. I mean, a little, their lyrical content on the record's a little,
It's a lot of vegan type stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of cringy at times, but like musically, it's just Carcass, man. And I could put that record on, and lyrics aside, I could just listen to it and jam out that whole thing. And just
no animals were hurt in the making of this podcast.
And Kevin, the final pick. What do you got?
No, I already gave mine.
The 2010s?
Oh, over. Now we're going 2010 to 2020?
Yeah, 5 decades,
That was
man.
the whole thing.
Oh, fuck, man. Jesus Christ.
What was the last Opeth record? That one. That's the one. That's my choice.
Behemoth the Satanist was also another really good record.
That's true, too.
Yeah, the Satanist was killer.
Damn.
But everybody knows that record.
Yeah, okay. So in the last 10 years, fuck. It's hard.
Sumerlands?
No, I've
Drum
been...
Champion?
Ooh.
Those are like runners up.
He's
No,
like,
you
I
know
can
what?
think of this
I'm gonna-
hard away.
No, I'm gonna have to give it up to my boys in Idle Hands. I've been listening to that record like crazy.
There you go.
Yeah,
All right.
I know a lot of you guys don't like that record.
I just haven't
Like,
listened
I only
to it.
like half of it. I like 3 songs.
No,
Actually,
it definitely grew
I
on me.
haven't listened to it. I'd be
Dude,
honest.
Nightfall. I mean, they just.
Just if you're suicidal in any way, shape, or form, do not listen to it.
Okay.
'Cause
Yeah.
there's a song what's the one he's talking about killing himself the whole time?
I'm not sure.
Oh my god, it's like every lyric is,
Really?
oh, yeah, we'll listen to it after.
It's hard because I enjoy their EP a lot, which still came out within the last decade. But so between their EP,
What if I should die?
yeah,
Something
I know
about
what song-
how are you
yeah.
gonna feel about living life without me?
yeah.
What if I should die? And then I think he actually says the word suicide.
I should die. Yeah, suicide.
Yeah. A great song,
Anyway,
though, don't get me wrong. It's very catchy.
What I love about them is they're not original. There's no such thing as originality anymore. But they somehow managed to mix Maiden Priest sounding melody with the Smiths, Sisters of Mercy, like 80s pop stuff, and a little bit of the Misfits and Ramones, and it's just a fucking great. They can play at any venue and open for anyone. They opened for King Diamond in North America, and now they're going to open up for fucking Gate Creeper and who's playing with. They're coming up soon in April. It's another death metal band, but they're playing with the death metal bands, and I'm like, fucking
so
Idle
weird, especially
Hands.
Gate Creeper.
Yeah, dude. I'm like, Idle Hands is opening for. They're another band, dude. That's actually the dudes from Gate Creeper, and they're in 2 other bands. There's 2 bands. The dudes in Gate Creeper and that band, and they're in Spirit Adrift. That's what it is, which is more like Iron Maiden sounding, but both bands are killing it. But yeah, my pick's Idle Hands. Check them out. They're just a good, solid band. It's like that music, like. It's the metal that you want to pop on if you're having a party and you want to please everyone. Mm-hmm. Hands down, you will please everybody with that.
Or when you're 15 and you're trying to bang another 15-year-old, you pop it on a party and make up
True.
to it.
It's true.
Anyway, guys, check out some of these records, man. I think we had some solid picks in there. I got to check out that Idle Hands record myself.
I'm having to pop a song on
He's
right
gonna
now.
pop it on.
Do the one I was
make
just
you
talking
do
about.
But man,
Double Negative, I think it is. Is it
Double negative.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, good call.
One
I
more
don't-
time. Merry Christmas or whatever. Happy birthday to metal.
What?
I'm tired.
He's
dude.
one beer in. He's
We
one
just-
beer
We've
in.
been recording for 3 hours.
Lies.
But-
He's telling lies.
Well, we did the movie right before. But
Yeah,
anyway.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and
whatever,
happy
to-
birthday to metal.
Yeah.
And
Alright.
thank you for joining
We just lit 5 candles on our...
Well, on that note, I'm Kev.
Marco.
and Doug.
See ya!
Thank you.